What's up YouTube? Brian here, back again with another video. And today we're going to talk a little bit about a rod I've had for a couple weeks now, and I've actually put a lot of time into it, and that's the new rebooted Daiwa Tatula XP rods. I have in my hand the 7'3" medium, and over here I have the 7'1" medium heavy. So I've used these rods. I have some thoughts and opinions. Stepping back, when ICAST hit this year, I was pretty excited by the announcement of these. I knew that Shimano had plans on rebooting their price point rod, their SLXs, and I didn't know that Daiwa was planning on rebooting their price point rod, the $100 Tatula XTs. Now, the XT's been around a long time. I've actually never owned any of the previous generation XTs, but I know they had a big following, and I know they've been around a long time. Like these things, I guess, were due for a reboot. So, when they went first, Omnia got a very small shipment. When they got them in, I grabbed a couple right away, and I actually spent a week up in northern Minnesota where these were the only two rods I brought. I went to a lake on Ely, and I did bank fishing and rowboat fishing for an entire week, and I ran every single technique that I brought on these two rods. So on the spinning rod, I ran wacky Senkos, Ned rigs, paddle tail swim baits, a lot of those kinds of finesse things. And then on the heavy rod, I threw some top water, I threw some football jigs, I threw some chatterbaits. So I kind of I just did the bank angling thing. I had one casting rod and one spinning rod, just to really beat on these things a little bit. So that being said, these are $100. And I'm just going to kind of just breeze through the things I like about these rods. Number one, the price is amazing, and you can get discounts. So if you know, my code down in Omnia is always in the description of the videos, or you can hit me up on my Instagram, pop it up in the corner here. Hit me up there too as I post codes. So you can actually get these on discount. The codes work on these, so you can actually get them for under $100. So at like $80, these things are pretty hard to turn down. So the price point's great. The fit and finish on these things, I just want to talk about it. The number one thing I like the most about these is the look and the fit and finish that they did on these rods. What I like, the approach that Daiwa took, is they took a lot of the styling from the Rebellion rods and basically just cut and pasted it to the Tatula. What I love is, if you notice, they have a printed Tatula logo right here, and it's glossed over. It doesn't even say XT, it just says Tatula. You don't even know this is an XT until you read the print on the specs. The specs down on the handle somewhere. On the inside of the rod it says XT. Otherwise, you don't even know this is XT, or the cheap rod, right? So it really looks from a distance just like the Rebellion, except for the Rebellion's got the gold hues, or the gold hits, where this has like the silver hits. So when you see these in person, these look fantastic. They look adult, they look classy, they look, if I was like a 15-year-old and I was running around with these rods, I would feel like these things are kind of sick. What I like is they aren't appealing to like try to make these cool and youthful, like St. Croix, when they do like the Bass X, they add like neon logos, or 13 does like really bright colors. I like that Daiwa went really simple and elegant and classy with their $100 rod. So this appeals to kind of everybody. I think people my age are going to love this because it's really simple and understated. I think young people are going to like just the full stealth look of this thing. It just looks badass. And when you put the Daiwa Tatula LT spinning reel on the LT, or the Daiwa Tatula XT spinning rod, you got a murdered out stealth bomber looking combo that is really nice. The weight on these things is fantastic. These come in at right about 4 ounces, a little over 4 ounces. In hand with the Tatula, this is an LT 3000. The balance is wonderful. So look at this, right at the grip. This is using all Fuji components, which is great. So let's talk about that. You got the fantastic normal Fuji handle. So if you choke up, you can get your whole hand. I'm trying not to hit the wall, but you can get your whole hand above the reel and still have this EVA foam to grab to, or you can do the split, or go, split middle or split pinky finger. Plenty of grip. This Fuji grip is just a really simple, easy grip that Daiwa's been using for a long time. It's on the XTs. These are on the Victory, the St. Croix Victory rods as well. This is just a proven great grip. The lock nut has a really cool carbon fiber look to it. I doubt this is real carbon fiber. It's probably just cosmetic carbon fiber. But then you got some some silver accents. You got a little silver accent at the top of the grip. You got Fuji guides on this. You actually have ringed guides. It's aluminum oxide guide, so it's just like the typical Fuji ringed guides. But here's the thing. For $100, you have full ringed inserted guides all the way up the blank, unlike the St. Croix Bass X, which is actually $130. So the Bass X is $30 more than this. And it's got just straight stainless guides halfway up. So it's got the super cheapy guides. So this has a better guide train. Looks better than the Bass X by a lot. I mean, this is super classy. This looks like a $200 or $300 rod from a distance, and even in hand, it feels like a $200-$300 rod. Anyway, love the cosmetics, love the balance, love the price point, love that they used a fully ringed guide chain from straight Fuji, so it's good stuff. It's got the awesome Fuji grip. You're getting a hook keeper. Unlike the Steez AGS rods, so their $550 rods don't have a stupid little plastic keeper or hook keeper, but the Tatulas do. So overall, just a great package for $100. This is the 7'3" medium. I love this rod for throwing Ned baits. You got to make long casts. You want that little extra distance. So like for straight up finesse fishing, this is definitely the rod I would suggest if you don't mind the 7'3". Obviously, they have smaller versions of this. So I would say the negatives in the Tatula XT line is right now there's not a ton of models. So you're not getting like that big wide a range of models like you do with the Rebellion and the Tatula Elites. So there's a lot of like technique specific rods and just a little bit of everything when you get up to the Rebellion and the Tatula Elite, where the XTs it's really slimmed down. Not a lot of SKUs. Maybe they'll add more and more rods to the line as it gets popular. So I would say the negative is you're only getting some basic models in this series. So I'd say that is one negative, but that might change. If this gets more popular, they might come out with like maybe a cranking rod or maybe a big giant flipping stick or some more finessey stuff. I don't know. We'll see. But I will say I think the biggest negative to these rods is going to be getting them. As we know, the supply chain sucks, and I think these things next year and maybe even this fall are going to be really popular. I think as people get these in hand and they see them at the store and these things start selling out, these are going to be hard to find. I'm just predicting that. I think that next spring you're still not going to be able to find these stupid things. Omnia didn't get a big giant shipment of these and they flew out the door. Any restocks that come in, set your alerts on these rods that you want to check out on the Omnia so you get an email. Those go out the door. Smaller shops, I'm going to tell you this right now, smaller shops that get these Daiwa Tatula XTs are not keen on shipping them because these are $100 rods. The margins on these things aren't that great, and shipping prices are really expensive right now. So there's certain shops that are going to have these, and you might have to buy like 2, 3, 4 rods for them to be motivated enough to ship these in a tube. So I've talked to a couple shops already, and they're like, these are going to be shop-only rods. We're not putting these online. We're not going to sell them because of the high prices for shipping for smaller shops. It really eats the margins on these things. They just don't make any money. So point is, look for these in your local tackle shops. Look for these on big shops like Tackle Warehouse and Omnia, where they do bulk shipping, so it's not a big deal for them. But so I think a negative on these is going to be just getting them in hand. Now, sensitivity. This rod, because I run braid to a fluorocarbon leader, was perfectly fine. Like I could feel when I was Ned rig fishing for smallmouth, I could feel rocks, I could feel everything. It definitely felt exactly what a $99 rod should feel like. And in fact, I would say like, if this is the evolution of $100 rods, the fishing industry is going in the right direction, especially Daiwa. And I'm imagining the new Shimano, the $100 rods, the SLXs are probably pretty nice too. I haven't gotten my hands on one yet. I would like to. But my point is, when I was bass fishing, when I was in my teenage years in the 90s, $99 rods were not like this. This is just amazing for the price and what you get for the money right now. So I got to just shout out to Daiwa. They made it really classy, something that just looks killer, really pretty dang light, balanced right. Sensitivity seems perfectly fine. Quality components for the $100 price point. And you can buy a couple of these. You can, for one Steez AGS rod, I could get 5 of these things, right? I mean, like you can fill out a whole arsenal for what it would cost for one of the flagship rods. So if I had kids that were super into rods and they were like, oh, I want to get a Guggen rod or Bass X, whatever, I'd be like, those are cool, but have you seen these Daiwa Tatula rod, these XTs? These are sick. So let me take a look at the casting model real quick. So this is the 7-1 medium heavy. I have a Tatula SV on it, which I think is kind of a reel most people are going to throw on there. I will say though, a Zillion looks sick on this rod. That bright silver reel, any like silver reel, maybe like a Hyper Mag, any like bright chrome silver reel on this rod just looks trick. It looks like it fits. But anyway, so let's do a little balance point. So this thing is a little tip heavy. It is a 7-1. It's not bad. So it's like a little, just let me get it right. It's like right above the lock nut, but it is a light rod. On these things, you're getting EVA grips, no cosmetics on the butt. This EVA is cheap. You know, it is what it is. For $100, they have to go with the cheapest grip material that they can put on there. So I mean, don't expect amazing high-end EVA like you'd find on like a like the old Steez rods or like on a Megabass TS rod or anything like that. So you're getting just kind of cheap EVA, but honestly, in hand, it feels perfectly fine. The reel seat is really comfortable. You're getting that cool silver accents on the lock nut. Let's show you the tip on the 7-1 medium heavy real quick. It's pretty fast. Here you go. So this is the 7-1 medium heavy. If you notice, it's got some power. This is not a super soft whippy tip. This is like definitely like a bottom contacty jig and worm. However, I was throwing chatterbaits on this and had no problem. You could definitely throw spinner baits, buzz baits on that. Single hook moving baits, swim jig would be perfectly fine on this. I definitely think it's probably a little too fast and stiff for treble hook baits. But man, if you just want a rod to give someone to do all sorts of stuff, you can do worse, a lot worse than this 7-1 medium heavy. I will say the sensitivity on this particular rod, because I was running fluorocarbon with it, was not great. I mean, it's a $100 rod. I was dragging around football jigs and I wasn't necessarily feeling every little pebble and every tick of the bottom. But you know, that's not what these are for. But you are getting a great package. You're definitely getting your money's worth. For under $100, it's really hard to say that this probably isn't one of the best deals or best values in bass fishing right now. So I got a shout out to Daiwa. They knocked it out of the park with the two models that I've been playing with. They have a 7.4 heavy like frog rod made for braid and heavy actions. I'd love to try that rod. Omnia didn't have them in stock or they flew out the door. I couldn't get to one before people bought them. So anyway, hopefully I'll try that rod down the line, but so far impressed. I hope this is helpful for people out there shopping and looking for these. You're definitely getting you're getting a bang for your buck for $100 on these things, in my personal opinion. And I've held a lot of high-end rods and a lot of Daiwa stuff in my hands. I've gone through the Tatulas, the Elite, the Steezes, and you know, this just shows me that Daiwa can really put out something really, really, really nice. I mean, between the new Steez AGS rods and these Tatula rods, Daiwa's kind of killing it. And I'm really hoping to get my hand on one of the new Exists. You know, I hope I'm quelling my Daiwa fanboyism lately on this channel, but they're really doing a good job. So if you have any comments, questions, anything, please leave it down in the comment section on the video. And if you've made it this far in the video, please hit like and subscribe, and I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.